Welcome to Board Ghost, a story broadcast with games as the engine. We believe you're out there, hungry for stories for shared experiences. We can't see you, can't hear you, yet we will play for you. This night's offering is Fiasco. To learn how to play the game of Fiasco and how we generate our stories playing the game of Fiasco, go check out our rules supplement primer. We are going to be playing the Fortune and Glory playset. All right, so the score, this is by Unknown. Gonna get killed chasing after your damn fortune and glory, says Willie Scott in the Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom feature film. There's an entire world of ancient civilizations out there to study and discover. There's even more money in it if you find the artifact of your career. But remember, that guy you screwed over in Tunisia 10 years ago, he's here, holding a gun to your back, determined to take the prize you risked your life for. Movie night on this one: Indiana Jones, Tintin, National Treasure, The Librarian, The Rundown, The Mummy, The Da Vinci Code. Our humble players, myself, John Holt. With me is...
Ken Breese. What's up, board ghosts?
And...
Yvonee Hartung.
All right, joining us for the first time.
Yes.
Welcome, Yvonne.
Thanks.
And last but not least...
Gailey.
Yay!
Right.
Welcome back,
Dee,
I'm
welcome
back!
All right, so we've rolled our die, and we're gonna run right into our grid.
Character generation, let's do it.
All right, so we've generated our grid. We have, between Yvonne and Ken, professional adventure seekers and a location, South America, the streets of Rio during Carnival.
Ay, ay, ay!
Between Ken and myself, we have a romantic relationship, old friends in romantic denial, and an
Looking forward.
object, the mysterious and holy mirror of truth. The mysterious and holy mirror of truth.
Exactly. That's
And
a holy
between Dee and myself, there's a relationship, the war behind enemy lines in their uniforms, and the need to get ultimate power by turning the ancient and mythical powers of the artifact on the world. All right, and between Dee and Yvonne, there is an odd relationship, a nosy neighbor and a secretive person, and the need to get out of this one-sided partnership. All right, so from there, we're going to generate characters, and we'll go into that.
My character is Caliope Trager. She's 35 and went to school for archaeology and found that artifacts and their worth were even more valuable than knowledge.
Udo Kreiger is an older guy, is sort of a German expatriate during the war, was into geosurveillance and geosurveys. He's a techie, basically. So he has all this like sweet high-tech equipment for the like cutting-edge nuclear 50s era that we find ourselves in right now. So sonar, X-ray, who knows what else. But the thing is that since he's such a tech head, he's not super into the book learning part of all of it. So Caliope and Udo have formed like an equal partnership to some degree. We'll call them Prestige Worldwide. And so that's the name of our company, and that's what we do. I have a buddy that I spent some time in a POW camp with.
So I'm playing Dr. Hans Fugue, and Dr. Fugue was a rocket scientist for the Germans during World War II,
Yep.
but he was also a resistance and ally sympathizer,
Yep.
and was smuggling out V2 rocket information
Mm-hmm.
to the Americans and the British, to the Allies.
Yep.
So he was behind enemy lines,
He was
wearing the suit of a
wearing
doctor.
the suit of a doctor.
He was caught and put in a POW camp at a certain point and was smuggled out before the Russians could get their hands on him to make rockets in the desert for the U.S.
Yep.
under Project Paperclip.
And I am playing Jack Stone. He's a freelance photographer. Yeah. He's an American, but during the war, he was behind enemy lines, and that's where he met Dr. Hans. He was spying for the Americans. I think also during the war, he found out about this mysterious and holy artifact, and so has been trying to be on the case ever since. Between Jack and Caliope, they have a bit of a one-sided relationship.
So we have all our characters. Do you guys want to roll into scene one?
You are going over to their house to ask them to
Yeah.
come on this thing with
Yeah.
us because we need a photographer.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Okay.
I think that is alone is good. Like you don't know this person very well, but you know they're
You're
a
the
photographer.
nosy neighbor.
Maybe
So
exactly. So you know that they're a photographer.
Yeah, I'm
but-
very gregarious.
Exactly.
Obviously.
All right. So we could just go knock, 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 and there you go. And just
Right. So you're gonna knock, you're gonna ring the doorbell. What's your style?
I think I live, just to give us like a scope of the world.
yes.
I think I live in like a rundown townhouse, and you live in a very nice, pristine house next door.
Okay.
And
all right.
I've like berated you with many questions over the course of the like 5 months that I've ever been home over the past of the 2 years, probably, because I've been adventuring around.
Mhm.
But I found out about your photography, and so I march on over and I
And of course, I answer the door, and I see that it's you. Hello, Calliope.
Hi, Jack Stone. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you?
I'm great. I thank you for asking. I have a proposition for you.
And what's that?
I would love to borrow your skills and your brain to come to South America with me and my partner, Udo.
Skills, what do you mean?
You know, your photography skills, your...
How did you know I'm a photographer?
Well, I've seen you around the yard, your beautiful yard. Wonderful garden, by the way.
Thank you. The gardenias are coming along nicely this year.
They really, really are. And I've seen you taking pictures of them with such care. And I just...
So you've been watching me.
I mean, but it's like it's an open yard. So yes, yeah. Every once in a while, I just peek out while I'm washing my dishes and, you know.
I see.
So what do you think, Mr.
Well,
Stone?
how much are you looking to pay me for this?
I mean, part of it comes from, you know, what we're able to make from what we find. But I would say that you would get probably like a 20% cut of whatever we get.
All right. That sounds pretty fair. Well, what are you looking for down there?
That's the thing. We've heard a few rumors about different types of gems, about different types of gold, but the thing that we're most intrigued by are these holy artifacts that are down there that potentially had been moved post World War I, actually.
What kind of holy artifacts?
I mean, we've heard about a whole bunch of Catholic artifacts being moved down and things even from Egypt. We don't know. All we know is that there's these holy artifacts that could be tied to various religions, because there's a big institute down there that I had ties with at one point, but I'm no longer in academia, so they won't let me in.
I see. So holy artifacts.
Holy artifacts. Not with holes.
No, of course not.
No.
Well, you know, I think that sounds very interesting. I think I'd be able to take some good shots of some things down there.
Yeah.
When are you looking to leave?
In 2 days.
Oh, that's short notice, but I think I can work it out.
All right, wonderful. I thought you might, and I'm so excited to have you along with us.
Oh well, thank you.
You choose. It seems like it goes very
you
well.
want it to be going well?
Yeah. Well, yes.
Okay.
This is that night, and it's at the Prestige Worldwide offices as we are frantically getting ready, Miss Trager, for our impending trip to South America. And you come in, and I'm like, Udo wears a lot of black turtlenecks with like blazers over them, sort of black slacks, brown shoes and stuff like that. He's balding. He has a thick brow. He wears glasses. Has a really big mustache as well. You can also see he's taking off his jacket, obviously, and slung over a chair. He has a bunch of maps all out. He sort of has his hands on his head, and he looks up. He says, Calliope, you're here. Perfect. Did he say yes?
He did. He did.
I knew he would.
Yeah. Well,
You offered him the 15%?
I mean, I offered him a little bit more. He seemed a little...
More?
His gardenias are very precious to him. I didn't want to tear him away.
Is that some sort of American slang I don't understand?
I don't think he likes me very much. So
It seems you like him.
he seems like a great photographer. I've looked him up in a few books. It seems like he was actually a little bit,
Very well. Well, I'm glad he'll come with us then. But I'm just unsure. Have you decided on what your costume's going to be yet?
For Carnival.
Yeah.
I was thinking some bright, yellow slacks, perhaps, and then a nice, teal bustier.
Very well. I am thinking of going as a monkey.
I mean, that's great. That's
It
very
should be
simple.
fun, but at any rate, enough with the fun and games. We need to figure out where the mirror is. The mirror that we seek. Everything tell me. You've been doing research, and we have been pointing now to Brazil. You have said in the past that the Portuguese, the Catholics, they brought something from Egypt to the New World. And now it is perhaps, I don't know, where in Brasilia? In Rio?
In Rio, yes. In Rio. I think all of my research points to Rio. It seems as if the Catholics were trying to get away after the First World War, and with the fear of Protestantism and as secularism coming in more and more, they wanted to hide these artifacts away.
Well, that's all very well and good. I have made sure that our shipments have made their ways there. The equipment has been put in place already by our agents, and we will begin scanning upon our arrival. However, I had to meet you tonight to clear something up.
Hmm.
I want to bring someone else in on this search for the mirror.
What would be their purpose on the journey?
They would be there to make sure our health was up.
Our health?
Yes. There are many different diseases in the South.
That is true. I've heard of.
A medical doctor is what is needed. Our
Yes.
personal physician.
All right, I think we have the budget for this time. We've been going on many adventures, you and I. We could totally pull this off.
D, how should this go?
I think it's gonna go well.
Very well. I know just a person. And you will love him. I met him during the war, and he has much knowledge. Be useful to.
Wonderful.
I am in an undisclosed facility in the desert, going through photographs of from high altitude spy shots. A lot of pictures of Cuba. Very there's been a lot of unrest there. Worried about the communists getting a foothold. There's this revolution going on at the moment, and we've been propping up Batista, but it's not a great look for the country. So it's a rough spot. And this is a plane that I've been very interested in, and the safety of the pilots at high altitudes. Very interesting to me. And I'm going through these, poring over them with a magnifying glass, and a new stack of photos is dropped on my desk. And it's more high altitude shots, but it's men in the middle of the woods, in the middle of a jungle, moving crates. And I zoom in, I get multiple magnifying glasses so I can get really close and get a good look at the crates. And they're stamped with the old Iron Eagle. These are old crates of Nazi artifacts, or at least packaged by Nazis. And I call to my handler, "Where did these come from? Where did you get these?" And I don't know who's my handler. Yeah, he's my handler.
Okay. They were brought in just yesterday from, there was a spy plane that passed over. One of our men.
Oh, you need to be more exact. You Americans just aren't precise enough. What's the coordinates for these photos?
It was South America, I think. Oh, let me check my notes. Near Brazil. I can't read my writing. Let me see what this is. Somewhere near the outskirts of Sao Paulo, I believe. Is what this says. I think.
I need to make a call. May I have clearance?
Yes, I'll have Barbara make the connection for you. Would you like it in your in the wall phone, or in the phone in the other room behind the filing cabinet?
I'll go with the Shakur line.
Or I'll get right on that.
All right. So I dial in and I go through a couple patches, and the phone rings on Udo Kreiger.
Prestige worldwide. This is Udo.
Hello, old man.
Vögel.
What are you up to? You into your personal wealth still?
Oh, you know, a little of this, a little of that. I am only farting on these Americans as much as I can.
You should be good. You should be using your good self. You should be using your talents in better ways. You should be helping fight this red tide.
You know I have no use for politics. I left Germany before all of that began. I was happy to.
You know what those who turn an eye will find. You saw that. When people turn away from the terrible things and do not act.
Truth is what they need. Truth is what we all need. And we will find truth soon enough.
You are a rogue.
Tell
Your
me.
wily ways will destroy you, old man.
I've been thinking about you. There's what we talked about all those years ago. It's coming true. It's happening.
No, I don't think the world is quite accepting enough yet, my friend.
We shall see. But the desert fox, what he found, I am on its scent once again.
You don't say.
Yes, in South America. I'm going to Carnival, don't you know? I'm dressing as a monkey.
How should this go for old Hans Fugue?
How about that?
Carnival, you say?
Aye, yeah.
And I'm assuming you're telling me this because there's room on the plane?
There is always room for you, Doctor. And we have room for a personal physician. I have a young partner, Caliope Trager. She is stout. You would love her.
The line cuts at that moment. And I hello, Udo. And I turn around.
Hans?
And there
Hansel?
are 3
Hans?
American soldiers, 2 MPs and my handler. And they say, you were making a call to a known defector from Germany, a known actor. We got to talk. and the MPs move on me.
You guys set the scene.
He gets a call. You get a call, and basically you're told that one of the scientists on Paperclip may have gone off reservation, and you need to come in and make sure that this is all good, and because you had also vouched for this person when they brought them in.
Yeah.
So this is your reputation on the line. So you fly in on a plane. You basically hop a plane from California. Like they fly you into the desert into Area 51 where the CIA is building bombers and spy planes, and drop you in there, and you go down in a bunker, and through a door you kind of come into, you hear like meat being like hit like with a mallet, and you open a door to like a room with just like a big sweaty guy with cloth wrapped around his knuckles to protect him, in his tank top and a single swinging light bulb, and Hans Fugue sitting in a chair tied to it, beaten pretty bad.
Smells real bad in here.
Yeah.
He's all yours, Jack.
Jack nods.
But I'll be happy to come back for him.
Jack just
Hate to eat the damn krauts.
Jack nods to the tall, burly man and just faces away from him as he walks out of the room, waits for the door to close. And then he casually strolls up to across from Dr. Fugue, and he takes the metal chair across from him and sits down. It's been a long time.
I run my tongue along my mouth and spit out a tooth. Yeah, it's been quite a while, Jack.
I can't say I like seeing you here in this situation, my friend.
Oh, you know the guards in the camp, they hit harder than this. This little boy is nothing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, I don't want to belabor anything here. I'd like to make this as pleasant as it could possibly be, so why don't you just tell me about those photos?
Ah, the photos. Which photos are you discussing here?
You know the ones, the South America photos. Where did you get them?
I was handed them.
You'll have to give me more than that.
No, quite honestly, I was handed these photos and they piqued my interest, and I asked about where they came from.
What are in these crates?
To be determined.
You're really not making this easy for me, you know.
I couldn't make it any simpler. I couldn't be telling more of the truth.
Look, my bosses, they told me to come here to talk to you. They're worried. They think maybe that you might be planning something that would go against our interests.
I can assure you that our interests are the ones I have at heart.
You can see his eyes widen a little bit, but his face stays the same. All right, I believe you. I do. But I think maybe the higher-ups might still be concerned, so I'll need something from you that I can give them, so that way they'll leave us alone. I need a little more assurance from you that you're on the side of the Americans.
D chooses. We set the scene.
Oh, yeah. How would you like it to go?
How does it go, D? Good or bad for you?
I think it goes good for me.
All right. All right, look. This old cad, this man I call this Udo Kreiger, he has an expedition to go to this area. I don't think he quite understands all that is there, and if he does, it'll mean trouble. They could possibly use someone of your skills. If you made yourself known to one of them, you might be able to, they might approach you, but let them approach you. Don't hide away as much as you do, old man.
And you have any more information about this expedition?
I'm afraid our best chances to learn more would be for you and I to go on it. The two of us can keep old Udo in check.
All right, let's do it.
I think this is gonna be like the first time that I ever saw you in your garden.
So way flashback.
Like it's a way flashback,
Flashback.
like to like I guess a few months ago
Okay,
or something like that.
maybe farther back.
I guess farther, yeah,
Yeah.
because that makes sense.
To be living next to each other.
Yeah, a year ago, 2 years ago. Calliope's in and out of her house. She doesn't know when it is, but Calliope is furiously reading through a book that's all about all of the world's treasures that she found recently in her old college library that her professor gave to her. And all of a sudden she noticed Jack Stone just tending very tenderly to his garden in a way that she had never seen someone pay attention to a garden before, and then just very carefully take pictures of a single flower that shows more artistry than like recreational gardening. So definitely someone who's dealt with needing to document things in a very particular way and not necessarily for a scrapbook. And she just starts going closely over and over just to feel it out
Mm-hmm.
and see if he notices. And she notices that he does tense up, and like his back tenses up a little bit. And she's like, "Oh, there's something more to this guy than just a new next door neighbor who likes flowers."
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Jack kind of, as he's delicately, troweling in the garden, kneeling down over his flowers, he's softly whispering to them, taking delicate care and gently tucking in the soil around the flowers, and then wiping his hands and pulling his camera up to take pictures. And perhaps maybe the fourth or fifth time that Calliope comes over to kind of sneak up on him, she sees him tense up, and then he slowly stands up and wipes off his hands and turns around and looks at her and says, "Can I help you?"
"Hi, my name is Caliope Trager. It's so nice to meet you. Welcome to the neighborhood."
He looks down at his hands and then looks back at her and says, "Thank you."
When did you move in? I've been away traveling all over, but when did you move into the neighborhood?
Well, I've been here for a few months.
Oh wow, funny. I hadn't seen you before just now.
No, I've been here. As you can see, the garden is coming along nicely.
Oh, it's gorgeous. Just such beautiful, beautiful work.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Where did you come from?
Is there a reason that you're here?
Just good, neighborly. It's the Midwest. We're just all trying to get along.
I see. Well, what did you say your name was?
Calliope.
Calliope. I tend to want to keep to myself to mind my garden, and I don't take well to visitors, really.
All right, I'll keep that in mind, but it's been so nice to meet you. I will try to mind my distance as much as I possibly can.
And he just nods to her. Thank you.
So how's this going to go?
Seems like it went pretty bad.
I think then her interest is even more piqued than before, to a near obsession over the neighbor. And she's decided to make it her mission to figure out who this new neighbor is and what they're about, and doesn't sleep very well anytime that she is home because she's just constantly watching him.
She picks up a pair of binoculars.
Yeah. A pair of binoculars, and like anytime that she has time to start researching people of his age in the army or at all involved in anything that she could possibly find documentation of, she's flipping through it constantly.
Cut to in media res of action scene. We are on the streets of Rio. Carnival's going. There's noise. There's music. There's lights and sounds and just tons of shit going on. And the four of us are in an alleyway with a bunch of CIA agents who are trying to beat us up. We're all fighting them at the same time, all four of us. Udo's there, and Hans, and Jack, and Calliope, and they're like trying to beat us up, and we're beating them up, and we're just finishing the fight, basically. Like, we just knocked the last guy, like he's in the trash now. And I sort of look around at everybody, and I'm like, we have to get out of here. Spread. We need to split ways. Quick. Who's coming with me? You, Jack Stone. Not this way, this way.
Jack grabs his camera from where he tucked it behind a garbage can.
Yeah.
You see him sort of like glance at Calliope real quick because he's trying to decide like if he should leave her or not, because he's not sure who is the person that has the most information about where the holy artifacts might be. But he follows Udo.
Yeah. Udo runs off with Jack, and they're running through the streets and then duck into a side alleyway and sort of wait for a second. Udo is dressed up like a monkey. He has a lot of sparkly sort of paint on like a tuxedo. And so it's not like he's a cartoon. It's almost like it's sort of been imprinted on the tuxedo that he's wearing. There's a little tail as well that sort of comes down. He's just wearing a regular top hat. So it looks like he's sort of a monkey wearing a top hat. He has a monkey mask, obviously, that he's not wearing right now. He lost it at some point during the scuffle. And so he's looking at Jack. What's Jack wearing?
He's wearing khaki sort of fatigues. He's got the, like the fisherman's tackle vest on with all of his like camera equipment in it. And he has his camera all with him. And he's
Did you get any pictures of them?
No, I didn't. There was no time, man.
Is your equipment okay?
He gives it a little check over. It's fine.
Good.
He adjusts a pair of mirrored sunglasses back over his face that were askew in the fight.
I'm glad you're on this trek with us, Jack. I think when you find the truth, it will do you very good.
The truth?
Yeah, the veritas.
I don't know what that means, but I mean, coming from...
I knew it the moment I met you. Calliope said you were a great photographer and very handsome, and your gardenias are so blooming. I mean, she really needs to get laid, honestly. Can you, perhaps? I don't know. But at any rate, my partner is a wonderful person.
Yes,
I
your
will say,
partner.
though, that we are looking for something very important. And this only underlines what I'm saying. These spooks coming after us.
I agree. It's highly suspicious. What exactly are
Oh,
you
do you have a
looking
cigarette?
for?
I need one. I'm just, my nerves.
He pulls a package out of the breast pocket of his jacket and offers it to
Did you ever see a monkey smoking a cigarette before?
No.
I have during Savoy. It's crazy.
So, yes, we should get back to our mission.
Very good. I would like that as well. I mean, but the question is, where do we go next? You must know.
I'm a simple photographer. I'm here to take glamorous photos of you.
Oh, a simple photographer. Yes, that makes no sense, though, because you must have more complexity to you than just the photos you take. Who is the man behind the shutter?
I'm a gardener.
A gardener.
Yes.
Ah, yes. I've heard your blooms are very, very nice. How does this go for me, you guys?
What is he trying to do?
Uh,
Everyone wants to get behind Jack Stone's steely demeanor.
Exactly. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to get behind Jack
Trying to
Stone's
crack the ice.
Trying to crack the ice. It goes well for me.
Udo's a
As
warm guy.
As I say, indeed, the holy mirror of truth can show many things. Have you not heard the legends? The old legends from the time of the ancient Greeks. They said they brought it to North Africa, and the truth showed that the gods of Egypt were true. The mirror of Ra, they called it. But now it has been lost for centuries. They say if you look into it, you will know your true self. Think, my man. Think of all of these warmongers, all these stupid people with their guns and their bombs would look in this mirror, see the truth of life. It has power, I tell you that.
Jack lowers his reflective sunglasses a little, looks over them at Udo and says, then that does sound interesting. I might have heard a little something about that mirror myself.
I am not surprised. Do not tell me more. Your secrets are your own. Simply know that I seek truth, and I see when truth is kept from me.
Jack Stone pushes his glasses back up and turns away and smokes.
Smokes. All right, that's my scene.
This is a flashback. I like to do these.
Yes.
But it's going to be not the first flashback of this scene. So we're flashing back. We're inside a bomber, and it's flying over the ruined city of Berlin. So there's just rubble everywhere. And Dr. Hans Fugue is sitting and looking out the window. He's emaciated, bruised, and looking at the destruction of the city below, wrapped in a military blanket. And across from him, wearing his reflective aviators, is the photographer Jack Stone.
Jack Stone.
Who oversaw this extraction. There's rows and rows of other extracted civilians and POWs on this bomber, on this recall plane. And Jack is asking something, but Hans isn't there. He's not listening. And he flashes back further yet to being in a cell in the POW camp. And he's sitting there with Udo.
We're holding hands.
Yeah. I'm stretching out Udo's hands where they were broken recently, getting the muscles back into action. And that's when an SS officer, clumps up and stops, heels clicking in front of the cell.
What are you doing?
I am helping his hands, I tell you.
Oh, have you
This is
never
all in
had a
German,
mani
by the way.
pedi before?
Udo, you old fool.
You know there is no touching in the cells. Let go of him.
All right.
Human touch is very important. It is how we know we are human.
So you're sort of a commander. The other two soldiers come up behind you, and I look at them and go, so it's time, is it? Time for me to be put to the question. Udo, wish me luck.
Viel Glück, mein Freund.
Bis Montag. Ich bin krank.
All right, enough of this. Grab them. Or him.
So I'm dragged down this corridor. You're like, click,
no,
click,
Hans,
click,
no!
click, click, click.
I
click,
like
click,
try
click.
and grab him, and I'm punched in the face, and I fall. I'm full of spirit and vim and vigor. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
and I'm getting all fucked up.
Then they hit you.
Kuh.
They hit you in the butt of a rifle, and you
Totally.
just drop.
Yeah.
Well, I'm dragged further down the corridor, and I'm sat down in this room, this vault of a room, and you start asking me questions.
Do you know what you were doing with the Americans?
Ah, you're just going to kill me or I'm going to die in here. Just let it happen.
No, not under my watch. If you answer these questions, what were you doing with the American?
Of course, I was doing nothing with the Americans. This is all a misunderstanding. I should be back working on the rockets.
And the commander smacks
Smacks me.
Hans. Yes.
Oh, you're going to have to do better than that. And they start beating the living shit out of him.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
So they just kind of beat him pretty hard, using cudgels and pretty bruised up, broken ribs, etc. So that there's something you have a last resort for getting the truth.
Okay. So I turn to the lieutenants and I tell them to go and grab Udo and have them drag Udo forward to the room. You will answer the question or else he will have his 2 feet broken.
No!
Two.
I'll tell them nothing.
All right. How's this going to go for Hans?
I think it goes badly.
Okay.
Goes poorly.
Hans is like watching them, like they have their cudgels ready. He sees the hunger in their eyes to just do violence, and his shoulders sort of shrug. He loses his composure. Fine, I will tell you what I was doing for the Americans. I was giving them information about our rocket program. I was helping them understand the ways to build their own rockets.
No!
Yeah. So then you've gotten what you want.
Yes. Take them away.
And
and break his feet.
And so they just start going to town on Udo and bust his feet up real bad. And I'm like, no, Udo, no. So I'm dragged away while your feet are broken.
I think we'll go back to the original flashback that you mentioned.
Oh, in the plane.
In the plane.
Ooh.
Yes. And so it's quite a long helicopter ride, right, to extract this doctor. Our 2 men have had a sort of previous relationship before this that we haven't seen so far. So they are kind of speaking with an easy casualness between them. And Dr. Hans is a little bit out of it, but Jack is telling him a little story. I heard something down in the camps where they kept you. There was talk about a mysterious and strange object. It was sort of fantastical. I didn't pay much attention to it. You know how it can get down there with all of the lack of eating and whatever. People say crazy things, but there was something about what these guys were saying, something about some potential out of this object, this amazing object. Did you hear anything about it?
All men will make stories to help them through the night, especially when they're under such hardships.
Yes, this story, something about it made me think maybe there was a little more truth to it.
Truth, you say?
Yes, truth. They mentioned that it had powers and maybe it was just wishful thinking, people thinking about how they could escape, but they were saying how it could be used against enemies, against many people. You didn't hear anything like this?
There were many tales. Tales of boxes full of deadly dust. Tales of men who'd rip a heart fresh from a chest still beating. All sorts of crazy tales flying around the camps. Nothing more than children magazines, as far as I know.
The story, though, something about it. I think the way that they spoke of it spoke of untold power. If it were to get into the right hands, my friend.
I think this is a point. How do you guys think it's going to go?
I think it goes good.
Yeah, I think it goes well.
Goes well. Goes well for you, Jack Stone.
Okay.
As most everything for Jack
So
Stone.
how about this? So Hans is like, you are a man of conviction, old man. Stone, look at you. You have been always good to me. Listen, I will tell you one thing. There is a trove of artifacts that Hitler and his men were collecting. Rumor is that these things were hidden away when the war started to turn from them. Amongst these things was something they had not learned to wield, but it is said it can create the truth and give it to others.
Yes, this sounds like what I heard. I think that this sounds like a very interesting story.
Sounds like a dangerous thing that not many people should have.
Not many people, but maybe 2.
Even that. You see what the madness of one man can build. The fire is right. He looks back out the window.
And that's the final scene of Act 1.
That's it.
That's it.
So now we've wrapped all our scenes. We're now going to generate our tilt. So what we do there is everyone rolls their dice together. So to generate our tilt, we have failure. Fear leads to a fateful decision, and innocence, misdirected passion. We interrupt our story here, and we'll resume in our next communique. I was one of your players, John Holt. You can find me on Twitter at Lord Joho and on Instagram at board_ghost. And you can find my other podcast at newtoyoushow.com. Ken, where can people find you?
Hey, everybody, you can find everything I do at burlingsbeard.com. That's BERLINGS.com. But I love to be on Twitter, so find me there. We're doing streams on Twitch as well. And obviously, we love this podcast. So thanks for following, everybody.
All right. And Yvonne, where can people find you?
Oh, people can find me at teamawesomerobot.com. It's my theater company, and I don't really do a whole lot of social media-ing personally, but that is where I am found.
Cool. All right.
And
Dee, where can people find you?
you can find me in the darkest recesses of the internet, but I guess you can find me on Twitter at mixednerdmxnurd.
All right.
Awesome. Thanks for being on, you guys.
Yeah, it's been a blast. To be continued.
Dun, dun, dun.
To learn more about the players and the engine in our story, please visit boardghost.com. You can attempt to pierce the veil and contact us at BoardGhostWorld on Twitter. Shout out through the ether if you have desires we can fulfill. Leave reviews and comments on iTunes, your preferred listening portal, and please take a moment to subscribe so you don't miss out on the latest episodes. We'd like to thank Pat Couples for our theme song and interlude music. You can find more about Pat at patcouples.tumblr.com or on his band's website, hotelsandhighways.com. If you're not alone in the void, share our stories. The more they are consumed, the truer they become.